back by popular, and I do mean popular demand. It is season 2 of the 10 count. Back again, I am that art of the beat of the V, Richard Bronson Vickery, joined on the other side of the screen. Hey, by the way, he really doesn't need any introduction, but we'll go ahead and give him one anyway. Mr. John Poz, welcome back, brother. Season 2, we're at it again, the 10 count, my friend.
Thank you, RBV. Glad to be back. Was waiting to like, when does RBV get to start up season 2? What is going on with him right now? And then we're back. I love it.
Oh, we got back to school. You know, you had some late summer vacations. You guys went to Disney World. You guys were celebrating. But hey, you know, while we were gone, I got to say, thank you to everybody, man. I had dozens, hundreds reaching out. When are you going to bring the 10 count back? I said, we'll be back for the fall. And hey, it's the same rundown. We've got 10 topics, 10 conversations, all circled around the past, the present, the future of professional wrestling. And Poz, hey, we thought today we would get back in the game, get back moving and grooving with a little game of a state of. And today we're going to be doing the state of WWE Superstars. We're going to throw out individual name, a group, a tag team, and give our assessment of where they're at and where we see them going in the immediate future. So are you ready to run down this gauntlet of all-stars?
I am ready.
Or should I say superstars? We're going to kick it off in a big way because it's the big news. It is the big pop, the big return of the week in professional wrestling. 10 years disappeared, 10 years in the making. Of course, I'm talking about the one, the only, the lovely, still shredded AJ Lee. Poz, what'd you think of the return? And what do you think the potential is for AJ's recent newest stay in WWE?
Fairly predictable in a certain aspect where Becky was, slapping him and stuff, and who you going to get, and like that. I thought it was fairly predictable that it was her, but she got a huge pop when she came out, so it was nice to see that. The rating got a huge pop as well. I noticed, obviously, you can't just rely on her because Brock Lesnar returned as well, so you got to kind of put that out there as well. But I did notice there was a big pop in the rating for that show, and it went head to head against the Chiefs Chargers game. I know it was on YouTube, but still it goes head to head with football, which was I think 16.2 million viewers on that, and WWE took a 200K leap from the week before. So I mean that's a pretty significant number, especially in this day and age of TV when only 49% of people actually have cable. So I mean that's a huge number, huge leap for them. So good success there. Good job by her. She's been getting good pop. Nice little promo, obviously setting up the match for WrestlePalooza. I think everything's going kind of swimmingly there. Just my level of interest in it, I don't know. I'm just not as interested. I'd rather see Punk kind of going after Rollins one-on-one or maybe a Punk heel turn. I'm just not interested in the man and wife versus man and wife angle of it. But AJ's doing great, and she looks like she's probably in the best shape of her life right now. She looks pretty good. Pretty damn good.
Hold on. First and foremost, Poz, are you meaning to tell me that you and your wife aren't ready to just throw down with some neighbors over some disputes there in the New Jersey cul-de-sac? Come on. I mean, this is...
Well, to be honest, a little bit of a secret here. Yes, because our neighbor keeps parking in the street. But yeah, I mean, no, everything's good.
See, so you could relate to this. This is really why I do like, the power couples, the couples feuding. You have that kind of dispute. But to AJ Lee's return here, and I have seen a lot of people, maybe our age, our fan demographic, that don't exactly get it. She wasn't that great in the ring back then. What's the big deal? I do want to, put out there, AJ Lee was the representative that transitioned, somebody that wanted to be a professional wrestler, that came up through the independents, trained by Jay Lethal, worked her tail off to get there. And this is during an era when we were heavily flooded with the magazine models. And in so many ways, I believe that it was AJ Lee that was maybe that big boom. In the same ways that Bret Hart gets overlooked for contributing to starting the fire for the Attitude Era, AJ Lee should get a lot of that credit for the women's evolution, as she was there at that cusp, that forefront, kind of passing that torch to Paige, who then passed it on to others. And we forget that there is an entire generation, a crop of talents that are in this company right now that idolized AJ Lee, and throughout the independents that absolutely idolized AJ Lee. So for that, I see the excitement. You talk about the spike in the ratings. I'm going to give it to her because we all saw that coming from left field. There wasn't any real indications of Brock Lesnar. We've been waiting for his return to set up the WrestlePalooza match. I think we all saw that, but I think that lies heavily on AJ Lee. And of course, in Chicago, she's going to get that massive reaction when she shows up, which she did. With that, going forward with AJ Lee, I'm excited for some possibility there. I would like to see, I understand when the band gets back together, they go on tour, you want to hear their hits. You don't want to hear their new stuff. You'll want to hear what you remember them for. That's why we got the look, the midriff, the skipping. I want to see, though, that 10 years, she's done a lot, accomplished and changed herself. She went from a girl, I want to see from going from a girl to a woman, and now showing those girls that were little girls that idolized her, that are growing up, to show them how you do change, how you do evolve in life. Because she's done some great things, bestseller, all that stuff with WOW. She's not that individual that we remember from 10 years ago. Let's bring that full circle into light. But one of the programs I'm looking forward to, one of her super fans, hopefully with Roxy Perez, is I want to see like a Fatal Attraction kind of involvement, where she's trying to take AJ's spot. She's the younger, better one, and she's trying to woo Punk or something like that. So I think there's potential for, like we said, she's only wrestled, a handful of people that are on this roster. Maybe Natalya, Naomi, Nikki Bella. The rest of them would be all new kind of matchups for us.
Fresh.
Well, we're going to see where the future guides AJ Lee. Let's keep it with AJ's, if you will, and one that's been rumored to maybe be on a bit of starting his own retirement tour. And I think we got some interesting developments, storyline or otherwise, this past Monday on Raw. I guess during the commercial, we got a break about maybe there's someone in the back that doesn't want him there. And we had his son tweeting some, questioning the storyline direction for old Pops. Of course, Pops, we're talking about the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
One of the best, one of the all-time greats, one of my all-time favorites. Love AJ. Interesting thing with him, it's like, okay, he loses to Dominic. You kind of saw that coming. El Grande Americano beats him on Raw. Like, what are they doing with him? He's kind of stuck in between here, but he's an all-time great. They can kind of give him a push or de-push at any point. Even last year, remember Cody Rhodes feud, which was kind of out of nowhere considering he lost at the LA Knight. So, but the fans were into it. I mean, and they went on 2 matches, which were like just, to pardon the pun here, but phenomenal, obviously. But everybody was talking about those matches. The crowd was into them. They were great matches. You kind of plug and play. He's like an MVP type where you can put him batting first. You can bat him cleanup. He can kind of work with with El Grande, then he could work with Cena if he wanted, or he could work with Cody Rhodes for the title. He's one of those guys you can do anything with, but I feel like he needs something, some sort of change up, something different. Something's got to happen here, and I think that promo, which is almost like a Killer Cross type thing, where it's like he's cutting it off air, not on TV, quote unquote, work shoot style. So I feel like maybe that's what he needs, and doing something different, pretending somebody in the back doesn't want him, pretending he's retiring because they don't want him around anymore, and saying he'll go elsewhere. So I think something work shoot style is maybe in the mix, or maybe in the offing here for AJ.
I absolutely like that. That's kind of where I was going to go with, we talk about all this fanfare, this pomp and circumstance for John Cena in his farewell tour. I think it would be so fitting for AJ Styles to do the exact opposite, where he almost feels ignored because, when he first, his first offer, he turned down, and it took him so long to get back to WWE. So many of us thought he'd never have that opportunity. And when they did give him the ball with it, he absolutely ran with it. But being the made man that he is, they'll heat him up, pulling back, pulling back. And sometimes I guess that could be a detriment to a talent, that they know that they can cool you right off, fire you back up. I'm with you, though. I would love to see this kind of be one of those, I was never supposed to be here. You never really wanted me here in the office, but I'm going to go out with a bang on my terms. And hopefully, and
Yep.
nice to see. But I kind of like what you're saying. The shoot thing. I think it would be tremendous to see. Maybe I know we got Bound for Glory coming up, but maybe an extended run at some point there for TNA.
Oh, could be. Never know. Could be. Who doesn't want him around? Triple H? Who's he alluding to there?
There we go. That's going to be the big question. Who isn't down with AJ Styles, and we'll have to stay tuned for that. But I am looking forward to what anything the Phenomenal One has to do. Pause. Let's take a look at a group of individuals here. At one point, they were kind of relied on to carry the red brand. We'd seen world championships in there, mid-card championships in there, tag team championships involved in there, women's championships. As a group, they've kind of done it all. Kind of down on the card right now, but they're still reliable there when you need them to put in the work. And of course, Paz, I am talking about the Judgment Day. They've come a long way since Edge created them. It's hard to believe that it was Edge that was the one time that brought this band together.
It's weird. It just seems like they just keep doing the same thing over and over. They go to the clubhouse, they have Dissension, and now there's a new girl in the group, and she's gone, and Liv's gone, and like Rhea was gone, and now it's Roxanne. Like it just seems like rinse and repeat. A lot of like just easy booking. The only one that's really interesting to me, and I love Roxanne, obviously for many reasons, but Dominic is the only like interesting guy in the group with me. Like Finn, you've been teasing this for like a year. Just turn it on already and start the feud. But you got like honestly, you just got to end it. It's not the same as it was. Damian Priest is obviously not in it. Rhea Ripley's not in it. I feel like Dominic should just end it. Maybe start his own faction. It's just not really needed or important anymore. It's faded. It's too rinse and repeat right now.
Is it now that to me, they're okay where they are. They've fallen down the card. They're very suitable to keep an alliance together in that mid to lower card. We've even seen now the former women's tag team champions there with Roxy and Raquel. They're kind of putting over other individuals. Obviously, we got the tag championships involved there. I mean, that division is just on life support anyway. That now. They are, as a group, having some success down in AAA. They're going to be featured on Worlds Collide here again, and they had a great reception when they were down there at Triple Mania as well. But I would agree with you.
Finn and Jade as a team together, then just forget about Judgment Day. Just make them a team together.
Well, I wanted to ask you then because obviously the star here that we're going to have break out, Liv. She doesn't need this group when she comes back. People are going to want to rally behind her, and she's going to become one of the biggest baby faces in the company. Is the group in some way still serviceable because you kind of need those henchmen for Dirty Dom? I mean, is he ready right now to fly on his own? I mean, legitimately, he is one of the ones in this company getting legit reactions where it's not a catchphrase or a sing-along. It is just an actual true heat.
I would put him in his own group. He's ready to whatever. And it could involve El Grande Americano, of all people, believe it or not, because of this AAA connection that they got going on with them. So I would put him in his own faction, his own stable.
Well, it's interesting you say El Grande Americano. Say his name, and one of them will appear. So that's our next name up here, Paz. El Grande Americano. And it's funny you mentioned Mexico. I think it's so unique with him and Dom. They have this incredible opportunity, I believe, where those two individuals, and with Americano, it's absolutely mind-blowing, but the two of them could be the most over babies in Mexico, and then be the most despised heels in North America. It's such an incredible dynamic that I hope that the company leans into. But where do you see any of the Americanos going right here?
Right now in the U.S., I think they're awesome. Obviously, he just lost to AJ Styles, so it kind of shows you where his place in the card may or may not be. But I feel like in AAA in Mexico, I would run with it. Maybe you don't have Dom win the Mega Championship. Maybe have El Grande Americano win the Mega Championship. I feel like he just over like Rover. He knows Spanish really well and can speak it really well. So I would go with him down there in AAA right now, even though I loved him in the States and maybe a different version of him in the States. I feel like AAA might be the way to go.
Well, now we've seen some different, presumably, individuals under the mask.
Right.
How would you play in when one Chad Gable returns? Or would you maybe potentially add other Grande Americanas? I know a lot of conversation around the internet, people popping. Can we get like different flavors, variety, sizes, skin tones? I think we should have like a league of the League of Grandes Americanos would be brilliant to me.
They could do something with that. That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be. I would have Chad be there, but have maybe this other Grande Americano as well. Obviously, whoever that third is it Pete Dunne? Whoever the hell that is, I would keep that going. That's just I don't. That's a good gimmick. Like Judgment Day is kind of old, whatever. This has so many legs to it. I feel like this character, or maybe a couple characters.
Maybe this could be the one in Mexican tradition that eventually gets passed on and on and on, and we could see maybe
Yeah.
for generations. I would like to see when Chad Gable does return, that maybe he is more of a sleuth type individual, and he's the one that is more determined than anyone has ever been in the world to go unmask and finally reveal who Grande Americana is.
Not a bad idea. You got your Booker hat on.
Well, yeah, we talked about there at the Open, the throwback to the butterfly belt with AJ Lee, not the only return, big time return here in recent months from that era. And right now she's making some headlines, maybe with some backstage news, maybe the wrong kind of headlines. She's there each and every week. She is putting in that work, for better or worse. Poz, your thoughts on the current state and potential future here of one Nikki Bella?
It's interesting because she kind of brought it up herself, which is definitely what it is. She needs to kind of change with the times, and like you almost said before about AJ Lee, like maybe upper game 2025. She looks phenomenal. She's got that like I just got divorced revenge body going on, if you know what I mean. Like she just looks like she may be 40, she may be 40 or whatever she is, but she looks like she's 30, kind of, that kind of thing going on. So she looks great physically, but I'm saying her attire, her look, her gimmick, you got to up it and change it. And that's what she needs to do. And I kind of saying that she needs to up her in ring. I don't care about that. I don't think that really, I think she's fine in ring, but her gimmick, maybe turn heel or do something, or turn on Rhea Ripley. Got to do something to change it up, but got to change her physical look. It just seems like she might be like doing a little bit of a nostalgia act stuck in the past, just as far as the look of the gimmick.
I agree with you. And if there's anyone that needs to be brought up to speed and let us see the life that she has lived, what she has been through, because there's a lot of lessons that, that people did grow up watching her that they can see maybe what's, what life holds for them. New fans that come in that can say, yeah, she was the belle of the ball there, and she's gone through some struggles. That's very relatable to people. They can use that in a baby face sense, or go the different dynamic and make it maybe like tap in to make her a modern day Vicky Guerrero. But I think her services for this company are best used outside of the ring. You're saying you're okay with how she handles herself bell to bell. I think less is absolutely more with her. We don't need her going out there trying to match up with anybody on a week to week. All these young girls, there's no significant rub. She's not going to put anyone over, make anybody better. It's not going to be like, oh, someone got Valkyrie got elevated because of that epic with Nikki Bella. No, that's not it. There's other ways for her to contribute. I was going to suggest more like in a talking head ambassador, save her for fun, like Rumble spots, major PLEs when they're, over in Saudi or something like that. I don't know. Less is more, definitely, with Nikki Bella. But if there's anybody that needs a 2025 upgrade, it most certainly is one half of the Bella twins there.
Definitely not physically, though, as far as her look. She got in shape. She got in crazy shape.
You know what? And that's something that they can pass on, that they can show to people. Hey, look, this is what she went through. Just recently had a kid, some bad public breakups in the news. You can let yourself go, but she is determined here. And this is real life. And this is how, what is she? Upper 30s, close to around 40?
Late 30s, I think. Yeah.
All right. So this is what life looks like here, and some dedication, some hard work. You can keep yourself on that track. Well, Nikki Bella, one half of a set of twins there. Let's stay on that Twin Train. We just seen them reunited. It seems officially. Well, it is officially because they're going to be back in tag team action. Usos back at it. They're going to be at WrestlePalooza. Poz, a lot of talk. Your good friends over at Keeping It 100. They were having this conversation. Is this a setback, a demotion for more so Jay, but I guess also Jimmy in there?
To be honest, I don't think so. I think this is not a one and done, but this is a let's wrap these guys back together because Survivor Series is coming up and Roman's probably going to have a team. Seth's probably going to have a team. Let's have the Usos and let's slowly build towards it versus the Vision. And that's what I think they're leading to. I really think that this was not like a desperation or we need something for the show. I do think that they did this because AEW was the same night and they wanted a bunch of different things headed into this pay-per-view, this WrestlePalooza, this PLE. I think that's the real reason. It's like, okay, we could do this. Let's put the Usos returning on to have a nice little push or whatever, which doesn't really mean that each one is going anywhere. Like, I think Jimmy's going to kind of stay in the mid-card. I think Jay's going to be upper mid-card main event type style, and he's going to end up feuding probably with maybe LA Knight and then continue feuding with Seth Rollins in that group. But I just feel like it was something they needed for WrestlePalooza PLE, like AJ Lee's return, Brock Lesnar, and the return of the Usos. Like, they're trying to really pump up this pay-per-view, this PLE. I think that's what this Uso return was all about to me.
I think you're living a little too deep in the bubble, relying a little too heavily on that AEW conspiracy. Not saying that there isn't a little smoke, to that fire there, but I think if reigniting them is to entice and excite anyone, it's not to go, the fans against AEW. It's the executives at ESPN. First time out after this new major partnership. You got to believe, they want to roll out the best of the best, the names that have been around for a while that the people at ESPN are going to recognize, first and foremost, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. I don't get much bigger than that when we're just talking about name power inside of the WWE roster. You put in there the mixed tag, the return of AJ Lee, CM Punk, who they're going to know that name. They know Seth Rollins, who has been getting a lot of coverage over on their network, dropping in on studio shows, making appearances, getting cameos.
And the return of, and Triple H said the return of Cody Rhodes as well.
Oh, Cody's going to be there. We know him. Actually, Triple H and Halliburton were on the Pat McAfee show today promoting, WrestlePalooza and the upcoming event. So I think there's more of that. But to the point of the conversation with the Usos, I think this was always something they were going to keep in their back pocket.
Yeah,
right now, there's really not a whole lot to do with Jay in the main event scene. They've got those spots occupied. So it's kind of a safety net to, be able to fall back on the tag team, fire up that Uso merch, start moving that again. People are going to get excited about it. I'm with you. I think, Big Jim, he is where he is. This is a safety net for Jay. And I didn't really think too much about it going in, the Survivor Series. But yeah, you look at the Braun boys. I expect them to put a whooping on the Usos just to continue as Seth is kind of preoccupied, but keep that storyline moving of the Vision and the Bloodline having those bad ties with one another. Poz, you mentioned Cody Rhodes. Well, for every great hero, you need an incredible villain. And it looks like the one we're going to get that's going to be first up and maybe to carry us through the remainder of 2025 going after Cody is going to be Drew McIntyre. Kind of a patchy road to where we're at here in 2025. How are you feeling about Drew right now and for the remainder of the year as we get into WrestleMania season?
So this is interesting to me because it's almost like, how the heck did Drew and Cody not feud before? Really? I mean, they've had a match before a couple years ago. Drew actually got the win, believe it or not, even though Cody barely has lost in his run here. He did take a loss to Drew about 2 years ago. Just interesting to me, like, how did they not feud? How the heck did they keep this in the back pocket? Because Cody's world title run initially. I love AJ Styles, but AJ wasn't being pushed as the top guy, so that was one of his feuds. Kevin Owens was one of his feuds, and Kevin Owens should never be anywhere near the title to me. It's just because he's not going to win it. And it was a good feud, but he's not going to beat Cody for the title, so it was kind of like a little ridiculous. Solo, you knew he wasn't going to win it, although he was kind of slowly getting a push at that point. He was feuding with Cody. It's just one of those things with Cody. It's like, man, he needed a big feud. Who's he going to feud with? And even like Logan Paul at one point, a little bit of Gunther. It's like you need a big main event type feud where you actually feel like he could lose. Drew is the perfect guy. Literally could out promo the guy, could outwork the guy. He looks like $1 million. I loved that attack a few weeks ago where he beat the hell out of him. And he literally, his excuse was, you were going to put me through the table. I did that before you could do that to me. So I was like, this guy, he gets it. Like absolute perfect guy, perfect heel. And if he beat, I don't think he would, if he beat Cody, who the hell could say like, oh, mistake, or whatever? The guy's awesome. I mean, he looks like $1 million and wrestles like $1 million.
Absolutely. You know, the $1 million, you can absolutely print money with Drew. I mean, he is the prototype blueprint for a mega star, not a superstar, a mega star. Unfortunately for Drew, I do believe we were just talking about with AJ, he's one of those made men where he's so made that they realize they can cool him off for a while and just heat him back up. And you always wonder, you know, at some point there has to be a shelf life where people see through that heating up and they just tune out. I don't think this is going to be the case this run. I think we are looking forward to this program with Cody. We're going to be talking about this being the absolute best Drew McIntyre that we have ever seen. And that is saying something right there, ladies and gentlemen, because we have seen some greatness already. I think he's ready to go to that next level. And going back and watching SmackDown this week, one thing that stood out to me, that was John Cena's last SmackDown. That's going to leave a major void with star power on that brand. Obviously, Cody coming back to fill that void. But as I said, for that hero, you got to have that foil. So Drew and Cody are pretty much going to have to carry that brand. And I am looking forward to it. I think they are going to make absolute magic. Said if he doesn't capture it, so be it. If he does, I don't think anyone's going to bat an eye on it. I think, they're really going to be happy for him. I really like what Drew, he is so good and so masterful that even though the fans, that audience, they respect him, there is an admiration for what he does. He's so good. He's able to get them to buy in and just shower him with boos and hate. And that's the difference maker. That's what makes him so special. A pro Drew McIntyre. Someone that's hoping one day to be, that, spoke of so glowingly as we have about Drew McIntyre, and a lot of people have him pinned. Keep an eye on as a next big time, hopefully mega star, not superstar, mega star inside of WWE, multiple WrestleMania events, carry the company, face that runs the place. We're talking about the young Steiner, Braun Breaker.
I'm going to keep this one short and sweet and very easy. Future WrestleMania main eventer. Obviously, I think what they were kind of hoping for was maybe Reigns versus Rollins going to be this big feud, this big like Shield breakup. I don't know if I'm crazy, but I don't even care about that. I mean, Rollins Punk is fine going in that direction. I want to see Braun Breaker, Roman Reigns one-on-one and having like a big, maybe Mania match, but like a big time match, not on a throwaway pay-per-view, on a big time match, and give him the big push, give him the big rub, maybe even have him win, even if it was clean. I think it would be pretty cool. I just feel like this guy has money all over him. Even his quick-witted like promos where he says something ridiculous like "You're 47, you're 40, you're combined 100." Like just you tell he gets it. And in ring, he's great. Everything he does is just great. And him and Hamin together, I think, is one of those great like match made in heaven thing. Rollins and Hamin have no chemistry whatsoever. Hamin and Steiner, for whatever reason, and Braun Breaker, great chemistry with them.
You know what? I absolutely now you got the old creative wheels going. I'm with you here. The Rocket's already been strapped to this young stud. Yeah. The only thing I think we're really waiting for when Braun Breaker breaks out is to embrace the heritage or embrace that bloodline that's inside of you. We got to get the Steiner name back if you want to fully hit his capacity, his marketing. His crossover appeal, you need that tie to where he came from. Those family ties are going to be so important for him. I think there is a lot of room still for growth. But you said there is something kind of charming and charismatic inside of those promos. I think we just need a little bit more of that. Just maybe understanding the character side of the business and just, the acting chops, if you will. But how about this? Since you got the creative juices going there, Poz, you're talking about making a star. And we want to make those stars on a stage like WrestleMania. What if he blows through a clean pin over Roman Reigns this upcoming WrestleMania? Night after he turns on Rollins and says, I'm coming for that. And then you have him beat Roman at WrestleMania and have him beat Seth at SummerSlam. You talk about a star being made right there.
I'm all for it. I'm okay with it. And I love Roman, but I'm okay with it.
Hey, they got to put them over. You got to make these guys, right? Yep. We need not just superstars, we need mega stars. That'd be a big way to do it. You know who can make that happen for us, Poz? How about our next guy here? Triple H. I know he's not in-ring competition, but he is still one of those stars of the company. I said just on the Pat McAfee show, he's doing all that voiceover stuff. He's on the PR trail, pushing his brand, WWE. How you feeling about the top dog right now?
Man, how could you not say he's doing a great job and he's just doing, maybe the best business they've ever done if you look at just the simple financial things of it, of how much they're worth, how much they've make, how much billions. You could say, though, if you want to throw a little curveball in, if you want to say, yes, that's a positive, you got to say something negative. The negative would be the creative is definitely stalled for a while. It's definitely rinse and repeat. It's definitely kind of paint by numbers. It's gotten a little generic. It's almost like, hey, let's just put these 6 guys in a feud and we'll just interchange, and this guy will free this guy this week and this guy will fight this, and change. It's very, very simplistic, easy, paint by numbers, rinse and repeat booking. So creatively, you could say stalled, but financially, I mean, they're absolutely killing it. And stock is worth $200. I mean, it's insane how good financially. So if you want to rip him for anything, it's creative. Anything else is a positive. He's doing great.
Well, I would say, here on the Hamin Media Group platform, he gets ripped up quite a bit for the creative. As it's almost because they know business is so good everywhere else. As you said, there's no doubting the financials. We see the arenas, the record financial gates, the streaming deals that they have sold. It's almost like they know everything is so good that they can phone it in creatively. They get in a right direction. It's like, okay, I feel where this is going here, but they're only hitting on, I'll be generous here, probably 30 to 45% of what we should be getting. And it makes you, which makes you want to beat your head against the walls. How much better could business be all around if we had truly captivating characters that we connected with, storylines that we wanted to sink our teeth into, where it was, again, must see live television each and every week, just not a PLE, where you had to be there to tune in, not get a fast forward replay on Monday Night Raw, where you could skip and just get the clips of what happened on SmackDown on YouTube. How much better could it be if they were truly hitting full cylinder? Even 75, 80% on creative would be a tremendous improvement. And Poz, when you talk about these record financials, really, how much of that is Triple H? That all seems like above his pay grade. That is Nick Khan, Ari Emanuel, and those other snake oil salesmen there at TKO. They're doing a hell of a job, especially getting these streaming services, these metro areas to buy in, to give them all these tax breaks, these kickbacks to bring in these mega events.
But if you look at all the sellouts and everything like that, that's like hand in hand with creative. You don't just go, I'm going to go to the show and it's going to stink. Like, obviously, the most of the fans must hand in hand for the most part, like creative. Like you said, maybe it's 50%, but they're liking, what they're wanting to go to the shows, obviously, and that's hand in hand with creative.
But I think that's because they are so good right now at selling the spectacle. You're going for a big event. There's going to be music, flash, pyros, sing-alongs, pop moments. You're going to get jelly rolls and returns of past superstars and all that.
But who's the conductor? But who's the conductor and the composer of all that stuff? That's him. He's putting all that shit together.
All right. Well, this past week, he was dubbed by one Mr. Vince Russo as the king of pops. So Triple H is absolutely
He loves
Triple
the
H
pop.
is absolutely living up to that moniker.
That's a great nickname. Wow. That's
You are
great.
right.
Okay.
You know what? That is a really cool nickname, actually. I think Russo actually did him a favor. He put him over, actually, inadvertently there. Speaking of pops, brother, that's what we do when we get out of here each and every week on the 10 count. It is our pop of the week. Hey, and I didn't want anybody out there to be like, man, these marks come back for season 2 and they're only talking about WWE. So we had to throw in, I got a little AEW. All Elite Wrestling. Wedding bells were this past week, Poz. True love has been found.
Oh, nice.
MJF, and well, we have his new bride with top, but he's got future plans. Hey, and it won't be the first time that we've seen a wrestling championship with a pearl necklace on it.
Oh, whoa.